I lead the IP group at Microsoft, which deals with all things that cover IP worldwide, from the patent portfolio to licensing to data and open source.
Why is open data and data sharing so important to innovation, do you think?
It's really important because it's what enables us to bring together disparate data sets to solve some of the toughest societal and business related problems. If you think about it, you can only learn so much from a single set of data. If you put together many different and vibrant data sets, you can come up with a lot more information and innovation to help fuel better decision making, improving efficiency, and tackling a lot of the pressing societal challenges we are faced with today. That's why we launched the Open Data Campaign, to help close the data divide so that companies of all sizes can benefit from AI and the insights that can be realized when you take data and share it and combine it in a responsible way. A great example is a pilot that Microsoft is involved in called the EV charging infrastructure pilot. We're doing it in connection with the London Data Commission, London First, ARIP, and Oliver Wyman, to really study the movement and the mapping of London traffic to help figure out the best places to put EV charging stations, by looking at things like demand, infrastructure, and power capacity. This is going to make a huge difference in climate change, and as you can see, it's something that can really be implemented and studied throughout the continent and the world. And it's the kind of thing that really sharing data has made possible. You can get so much more accomplished if you pool your data resources, have principles that make sure your data is being handled in a trusted environment in a way that is responsible. And then you can take that, and really the learnings and the outcomes that you can get from multiple data sets and sharing data are so much more than you can get if you just sit on your own data and do nothing. And the underlying issue is trust. We need people and organizations to trust that data sharing is better than data hoarding.
You mentioned trust as a crucial element. How would you advise organizations to build trust?
I think the pilots, like the ones we're talking about, will really show kind of the results and the benefits that we're talking about. People will see them. They'll see that they can be done properly, that there's a way to do it, that there's infrastructure, there are tools for them to use that can really help foster that. And I would hope that that would encourage others to recognize that they need to be part of this, and they want to be part of this, because it's changing not only business and innovation, but it's using innovation to help change the world.
What policies and developments do you think need to be in place in order to ensure that data is used and shared responsibly?
So some of the policies and developments we've seen really have come out of Europe. Europe is taking a forward-leaning approach with data policy. We saw them do the same thing in privacy with GDPR. And in data, they've really recently introduced things like the European Strategy for Data. Europe published a proposed Data Governance Act. These developments are aimed towards developing trusted data sharing ecosystems and hopefully will allow for a better use of EU industrial data that powers local economic opportunity. We at Microsoft agree with the Commission that the data sharing opportunities are out there, and we support the measures to encourage this greater data collaboration. Well, I would use kind of the most prevalent and top of mind issue, which is the pandemic. So a good example of that is the data that is needed to understand the spread, to understand effective measures, to flatten the curve, all of the things we've been seeing, it's all supported by data. That's how the doctors learn. That's how the WHO supports its recommendations. That's how you understand what's happening. And one thing that's really important to understand is that there is a lot of data out there, but it looks vastly different depending on where you get it. So if you're looking at healthcare data in this example, you could see hospitals or health organizations that have data that they collect in Excel spreadsheets. You could see PDFs. You could see people that have papers on their desk. That's all data that's very, very helpful, and combined you can see patterns and you can find ways to help tackle the issues that we're facing. But they don't talk to each other. So you need tools and you need infrastructure that allows data scientists and the people that then work off the data to be able to use that data. And so part of this, like I said, is really enabling that data sharing, because if you only have pockets of the picture, you're not going to be able to solve the whole problem. And these are problems that are facing all of Europe, all of the world, and you really do need to collaborate and share in order to really tackle them in a way that's going to be sustainable.